Because you have Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who's a natural light heavyweight. Crawford, who couldn't push back Madrimov. Life and death with Madrimov. What do you think Canelo's going to do to him? Run him out of the ring. You know what's laughable also? Dana White being named the promoter of this fight, considering he's never been in the boxing space. Has no stable of boxers. He didn't negotiate. And is being handed this fight on a silver platter and called promoter. He's the trust fund baby of boxing. That's it. The trust fund baby of boxing. And get this. The fight will take place during the day on September 13th in Las Vegas. During the day. So Canelo will fight during the day on Netflix just to accommodate UFC Noche later that evening on a different network. So does that mean this fight isn't important? Do they not give a about the fans or viewership? Why is it that Canelo has to fight during the day on Mexican Independence Weekend? And UFC with a roster of names I've never heard of is going on prime time. Cinco de Mayo. He's fighting in Riyadh, and now he's fighting during the day on the biggest weekend in boxing. Yeah, Canelo will fight anywhere. Anytime he's told, because he doesn't give a all he cares is about the money. Doesn't give a fans.
So, the Crawford versus Canelo chaos? A fight that should have been epic, but is quickly becoming one of the most controversial matchups of the year. Not because it's boring, not because the fighters aren't GOAT status, but because, let's keep it 100, this matchup makes no sense. Terence "Bud" Crawford has leapt through more weight classes than fans can count, and now he's standing face-to-face with Canelo Alvarez, a man who's been fighting at super middleweight and light heavyweight, cracking skulls like it's nothing. And yet, it's happening.
Crawford is going to fight Canelo, because even if I have some doubts and misgivings about the size matchup, it is 2 action fighters who like to fight aggressively at times, not all the times, going against each other, and we'll see who can open the other person's tuna can, so to speak.
The fight world is divided. Oscar De La Hoya is flaming this fight like it's a roast battle. And boxing purists, they're calling it a circus with gloves. Let's break it down. Crawford started his career at 135 pounds. That's lightweight, my guy. That's basically your friend who skips leg day and eats 1 protein bar a week. He climbed to 140, then 147, and just recently touched 154. And even that was pushing it. Now he's fighting Canelo at 168 pounds? Bro's jumping 2 full weight classes. That's 21 pounds up from his natural weight. For context, that's like a welterweight walking into a cruiserweight gym and saying, "Yo, I got this."
I mean, look, the fight can go either way, guys. Either Crawford gets on his bicycle because Canelo hits too hard, just like we saw with Skull, or there's another scenario that can happen where Crawford can make Canelo look bad, just like Mayweather did, okay, and just took him to school without running. Or we'll see, Canelo just annihilate him because of the weight. You have to remember that Crawford is a 47-pounder or 54-pounder, coming, and Canelo has fought he's probably weighed 200 pounds in the ring at one point. So, and it makes a huge difference, guys. 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds makes a huge.
And weight isn't just about the number on the scale. It's about punch, resistance, power output, frame, muscle density, reach, everything.
Who was best in that attribute? First attribute, best jab.
Crawford.
Best defense.
Crawford. Nowadays, Crawford. I would say early in the fight, Canelo. And earlier in his career, Canelo. But he hasn't been that kind of fighter in recent years. Although Crawford is also hittable. with any fighter, when you talk about their defense, the question is not, can they be hit with a shot? You take punches. Everyone, the greatest defensive fighters ever get hit. Pernell Whitaker, Willie Pep, Floyd Mayweather, they all get hit. The question is, can you hit them with combinations? And both guys are hard to hit. With the two-piece, hard to hit.
So who has the best footwork out of the two?
In terms of cutting off the ring, last fight notwithstanding, Canelo has gotten much better at cutting off the ring. But
Canelo's been hanging around 168 to 175 for years. He eats steak, drinks tequila, and wakes up jacked. Crawford, he's still built for speed, angles, and IQ, not absorbing bombs from a dude who fights like a brick wall. Now let's get into the juicy stuff. Boxing legend and golden boy turned promoter Oscar De La Hoya has been going in on this fight. Like, brutally honest. He straight up called the fight a joke and said it's just a spectacle. In one interview, he said, "This is WWE with gloves. Crawford has no business in that ring at 168. He also hinted that both guys are cashing in on their names, not their skills. Because let's face it, if this fight was between two unknowns with the same size gap, nobody would be watching. Oscar added, "This is just a money fight. No legacy, no meaning, just noise." And honestly, he kinda has a point. Here's where it all gets messier. The boxing world? Completely torn apart. You'd think we were talking about a political debate, not a fight.
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so, no.
Corey, how you got a decision to stoppage? Because Bradman and Boozy think that Bud actually might stop him.
Me and Boozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone, talked about it, but I think that's possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that Bud could crack too. So
I don't like the fight because Terence Crawford is a good fighter, but in the sport of boxing, it has divisions. You know what I mean?
Right, weight classes.
Right? Yeah, weight classes
for a reason.
Weight classes and Terence Crawford is a good fighter in super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, but I think more. I remember when Terence Crawford fought with Madrimov.
Yes.
He looks slow. He looks with no power. And three more divisions, two more divisions. I think it's a top fight for Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He has a great defense. He has a good combination of punches, but I think the weight class is no good for him.
On one side, you've got the believers, the ride or dies who think Terence Crawford isn't just stepping up in weight, he's stepping into greatness. And they're not regular fans, they're legends. We're talking Floyd 50-0, Mayweather.
You could take a guy like Canelo, this guy could do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk, easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
The man who built an empire off defense and discipline, actually backing Bud. Floyd's been dropping hints that Crawford's ring IQ is next level, that he sees angles nobody else sees. And if anyone knows about defying the odds in boxing, it's Money Mayweather. Then there's Tim Bradley, who's been raving about Crawford's timing, his footwork, and that icy patience that makes opponents look straight up silly. Tim's been telling everyone who'll listen that Crawford isn't just good, he's strategic. He doesn't rely on power, he relies on making you walk into his trap. And Canelo? He's walked into traps before.
If Canelo couldn't knock out Charlo, or you really think that he's going to knock out Crawford? I would pick Terence Crawford to beat a Canelo Alvarez, even at 168. Everybody can call me crazy and whatever you want to say. I get it. Y'all didn't believe me when I told you about Spence, but trust me, Crawford will figure out a way. I know a secret y'all don't know, and I ain't gonna tell you why I would pick Terence Crawford, but it's part of the secret is the reason why I'm picking him to win the fight. So
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
And let's not forget Eddie Hearn, who's hyping this thing like it's the Super Bowl of boxing. The man called it one of the biggest fights of the decade. He's saying Bud's chasing legacy, chasing immortality, and that this is the kind of matchup that gets people talking, even outside the sport. But now let's flip the coin, because on the other side, the haters are going full throttle. You've got Shane Mosley out here saying Crawford's going to feel that power like never before. Like, he didn't even sugarcoat it. In Mosley's eyes, Canelo hits different, literally. He's saying Bud can be as slick as he wants, but when that first clean body shot lands, it's a wrap. That weight, that mass, it's real. And you don't just muscle through that with good footwork. And then there's Sean Porter. Now this is someone who actually fought Bud and still thinks this fight ain't it. He's been honest in interviews, saying Crawford's style just doesn't line up well against someone as physically dominant and technically sound as Canelo.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know. So I think, if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
Porter's words were basically, look, Crawford's elite, but this ain't his weight. This ain't his lane. He literally said that Terence might not survive if Canelo just walks through his cleanest shots like Thanos collecting Infinity Stones. Brutal. And let's be clear, none of these legends are saying Crawford sucks. Not even close. They're just saying this particular fight feels like bad matchmaking. Like it was cooked up in a marketing meeting, not a sanctioning board. And honestly, they might not be wrong.
Crawford, Canelo, who you got?
Crawford, Canelo? I still say Canelo.
I got Canelo too.
I still say Canelo. Ring IQ, I believe that Crawford has a bit more.
Yep.
However, it's just the size difference. I think that where Crawford is lacking is that he should test the waters even with somebody at that weight class before facing Canelo. But hey, they say he's a dog. He's got shot in the head and drove to the hospital, so maybe that's just his mentality.
Hey, let's see. Only one way to find out until that day comes.
It's the only way, but I definitely think that it's a great fight overall. You know, black and brown is how you get down.
That's right.
Because what happens if Crawford gets hurt? What happens if the weight jump makes him slower, less explosive, easier to hit? What if Canelo ends the fight in 6 rounds, and we all sit there wondering why this fight even happened in the first place? So yeah, this isn't just another pay-per-view card, this is a civil war in the boxing world. Legacy versus logic, greatness versus gravity. And if you think the fans are split, just wait till we get to fight week.
He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. He's not gonna beat me. Don't worry about it. I think this fight is gonna be in the books of the history of boxing for sure. That's for sure.
For sure, them belts coming with me. They coming home with me. I'm telling you right now.
You can see it, but it's gonna be difficult. You take it to your home.
I'm taking them. And ain't nothing you gonna be able to do about it come fight night.
I know Turkey's in your corner,
I promise you.
But look, it's gonna be very difficult. He's gonna be so mad that day. Believe me.
I see you. I see you. You see I'm different.
I see you too.
You see I'm different than all the other ones.
No, I see you. No, you don't know different. You're nothing different.
I'm different.
Nothing different.
I'm different.
We'll see.
You're going to see.
We'll
you know
see.
it.
We'll see. We're
going to see.
Let's not lie to ourselves. This fight is trending not because it makes sense, but because it sells headlines. This isn't about 2 guys climbing the ranks to earn their shot. This is about 2 of the sport's biggest stars stepping way outside their natural weight lanes to make a spectacle.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And and Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo. But what's his options? I mean, like, you know, if Bivol wins, he could fight him for undisputed. That's a very tough fight. What's the other options? You know, Benavidez is up at 175. Obviously, His Excellency wants to make that fight, so guess we could see it next.
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is not your classic clash of equals. It's not about who's the best in the division. It's what if we throw two elite names into the same ring and pray the hype carries the rest? That's what makes this whole matchup feel more like a Hollywood event than a true championship fight.
I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not. Kovalev.
Kovalev was older. He does.
Billy
he
Joe.
does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is not there.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo go?
Tough fight. Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more. Try to get the fight even more. And I'm watching him, I'm like, man, I can beat this dude. I've been fighting people bigger than me all my life, and I always came out on top. You gonna get hit. It's a fight. He gonna get hit too. It'll be good.
So the real question is, why is this even happening? Because it sells. It's not undisputed versus undisputed in a way that feels earned. It's undisputed versus undisputed in a way that screams brand activation. If we're being blunt, this feels like celebrity boxing, but with elite resumes. It's like the Logan versus Dylan Dana stuff, just with a better training camp and a cleaner press tour. Everyone's clapping and reposting, but deep down, hardcore boxing fans are like, yo, where's Boots Ennis? Where's Benavidez? Where's Bivol 2? Where's the smoke that actually matters? Because boxing heads know, this isn't the fight that moves the sport forward. It's the one that pauses it for a photo op.
A lot of people are counting Crawford out. Crawford's he's smart, he knows what he's doing. Canelo, you know, I mean, he's not that big of a guy. He obviously weighs more, but I mean, you can't take nothing from Crawford. He goes in there to win. So I mean, I feel like it'd be a good fight. You know, it sucks that my brother didn't get the opportunity, but I mean, only Canelo knows why it didn't happen. And you just gotta keep moving forward. You know, gotta keep moving forward. But it's gonna be a good fight to watch. I got Crawford on this one. The thing with him, he adjusts. He's a smart motherfucker. He adjusts. He's not only does he switch from southpaw to orthodox, but he's just a smart. He has a high IQ in boxing, you know, and that's what I feel like. All these fighters that go in there to fight Canelo, they already go in there scared, is what I believe, you know, that which already beats him, you know. So Crawford's gonna go in there to fuck, not gonna go in there to fucking. So I mean, I have it going Crawford, bro. To be honest with you.
People wanted Bud to clean out 147 properly, or maybe even take on Jermell Charlo at 154. Canelo? Everyone's been begging him for the Benavidez fight. That's the real Mexican monster smoke, but nah. Instead, we're here. Watching a fight that feels like a well-produced Super Bowl commercial, high budget, major names, great promo, but does it really mean anything in terms of legacy? And what's wild is that both fighters know it. They've leaned into the drama. The face-offs, the viral press clips, the crowd pops. It's promo gold. But at the core, you have to ask, is this fight being made because it was deserved or because it's a marketing masterstroke?
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me.
Look,
it's gonna be me.
I don't care about nobody else.
And you will see that.
You. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Same shit everybody else been saying since I moved to 147. I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass, and he gonna be next. Watch.
Live only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Because if you strip away the flashy cameras and record-breaking pay-per-view predictions, the weight difference is crazy. The size gap is ridiculous. And honestly, the competitive balance feels off. That's not boxing tradition. That's Netflix versus prime level entertainment. So what is this fight? Really? A boxing purist nightmare? A cash grab with no technical merit? Or a moment where two icons rewrite the rules? It depends on how you see the game. But for now, one thing is clear. The boxing pros are split and the clown emojis are flying.
As I said last week, I hate Tom and Jerry's kinds of boxing. We will not have him anymore. This is the first thing. The second, we will have in this fight and the next fight, bonus for KO. I don't want to force to be having ring 12 by 12 or something like this.
Now I want to hear from you. Is this fight GOAT tier or garbage? Can Bud really pull off the impossible? Drop your take in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and smash that bell icon. I'll catch you in the next video.